Hi guys, hope you hear me well. I'm gonna check it. The sound. Yes, it's okay. So today was a pretty good day. We had a walk in the forest with my family, kids. So I wanted to share some thoughts about what was happening this week, and probably I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. So the first information that we had is the journalism and other guys had a mural of that convex Earth documentary made by Brazilian alternative scientists. And so I watched it, as probably most of you guys. Um, what I didn't like there was pretty long intro and blah 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 blah, and describing all those merry-go-round experiments, but I guess it was pretty good for those who didn't watch any videos about flat Earth proofs. So they did a pretty good job, as I think. But what I didn't like is that they were like supporting uh, space research and satellites and all this stuff. So you might as well watch this video by yourself. It's on journalism with a good translation, so probably it's better to watch it there. I'll leave you a link if you haven't watched it in the description under this video after the broadcast. So another great news is that we had a countdown to re-entry of so-called Chinese satellite. So it's like it can hit the Earth in the next 12 hours. And people commenting, making these tweets like the orbit of Tianwen is expected to look like something like this. So it's like so like always, they all fall somewhere that nobody can see it. But like last time they had it like I'm gonna share you like this. So it was in 2008, like accidental plane pictured the entry in the atmosphere. So probably doesn't look very good for me. And right now they have this conceptual video about how it's supposed to be looking like, how it's gonna travel above the Earth, and it's going and going and going. And the ballistic trajectory is calculated. And like always, we see these cartoons and no actual proof of the fall. We're gonna wait for the actual proof. If NASA or European Space Agency will show us the proof that some Chinese junk metal thing can fall into the ocean, we can see it, and we probably can see something was falling like this was in 2008. Okay, so let's wait for this one and probably see it. Another great news is the cryptocurrency market, which was created by the CIA and FRS system, is quietly dying. But this is not quite correct to say, because the so-called share of Bitcoin is growing. So it's probably the Bitcoin is trying to beat the less important cryptocurrencies to gain more strength, and just like the conspiracy theories like say that yeah, they had a conspiracy to do that, because the biggest players that haven't entered the market and not bought any bitcoins want them to be cheaper. That's why they make this specific conspiracy with those who already had, have bought those bitcoins. So they like decided to drop the price, so everybody will be shaken off. Like when you have a race in a town, two cars, one can shake it off with some specific actions, which is probably the drop of the price, and that's what they're doing. And they probably enter the market when the prices will reach to 5,000. So be aware of that. Also, we have many news here on Russia today, but I won't probably stop on any of them. Um, as the famous, most famous topic we discuss in Russia is this um pathetic and hilarious versions and theories about the ways that Russian British double spy Sergei Skripal was probably poisoned. So right now they call him a serial killer because they think the porridge could have been poisoning him. Right before that, they had another theory that the gas was left on the doors. So how can the gas stay on the door? We probably be laughing at this case for a couple of years from now on. And the second thing is that was brought with the porridge with this daughter of Skripal because he liked this cereal in the morning. So that's why she bought this porridge from one of her friends, unanimous friends, or unnamed woman. So okay. Well, we're gonna see this unfolding pretty soon. Russia, meanwhile, confronts London with 14 questions, and here are the questions. These questions are pretty interesting because nobody can answer those questions. For example, does the UK have control samples of the chemical warfare agent which British representative referred to as Novichok? Question number 13. Look at this one. It's just killer. 14. Have the samples of the chemical warfare agent of the same type as Novichok in accordance to British terminology or its analogs been developed in the UK? So this is just funny how they trolling each other. The British foreign minister is trying to troll Russians with the Dostoevsky novel, gets a hook right back from Russians, and so on and so forth, which is just a thought. But some presidents, Czech presidents, says he wants to see facts because there's no facts yet provided. So does says one of the Japanese politician who was ex-prime minister of Japan. So Yukio Hatoyama made his tweet that right before that, 4 years before that, right before the Sochi Olympic Games, United States and Europe were making a coup in Ukraine. In the result of that, the Crimea, where majorly Russians live, have a referendum to and voted to be united to Russia. And this time, the football championships, World Mundiale, that's going to happen in Russia this summer. And Britain is making the same play with Novichok, and that's why they don't want probably the relations between Western Europe and Russia to get better. That's what he wrote in his Twitter. And incident is still in research in so criminal police is or whatever it calls Scotland Yard is still researching the case and why the Prime Minister Theresa May was criticizing Putin. That's just before that she wanted that, and this is the goal of her. So what's he writing? So this is Prime Minister of Japan, and probably he knows what he's talking about. Russia believes that the UK may have staged Skripal poison to rally people against Russia. Just as we know many false flag attacks in Britain last year, this year, so probably this could be reasonable. And also, on one of a press conference, one of the Western journalists asked Maria Zakharova, the Russian spokesman, about why are those all the countries are so concerned and united in sending Russian diplomats out of the country. Isn't it the solidarity? And she gave him a long, long answer about what is solidarity and how we followed your rules and blah, 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 blah. And then she asked him a question. Why should we believe the country that lied us about Iraq? Why should we believe him just like that? And can you answer this question? And he was just, oh, boo, 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 nothing to say. And he was just afraid to answer that we probably should not believe those countries because they lied to everybody. And look at the Colin Powell thing, and look at the whoever was that, John Major or whoever was at that time. He also lied, and the British intelligence was actually providing the information about Iraq chemical weapons before the Iraq intrusion. And so Colin Powell was lied by British, and it's like looks like this case is about to be like this, but we're gonna wait, time will show. And the main topic for today is open your eyes or close your eyes, because we had this serious tragedy in Russia about a week ago when the Trade Center was burned and many kids died. And we had many speculations on this during this week, and most of them got in the trance of YouTube. And I wanted to talk about it, but this is not just the case. I watched many videos about the strategy, and this morning this one video comes up in the trance, and it's talking about old case about the concert that was made in one of the Russians so-called villages of the rich. And this is on slow motion right now. So this is just pictured by somebody on the cellular phone, on old cellular phone with the low camera. This is not, this is just video. This is probably the case with right now. And look at the eyes. Eyes were flashing. And this is the singer of that concert. He said, wow, we just, lights were out and music was stopped, and we saw many eyes looking at us in this darkness. And this is famous guy right now. Probably he wouldn't have been lying, because we see also another superstar here that she is a top model of Russian top model, Natalia Vadanov. She was also there at that time, and she's saying just the same thing, that she was seeing plenty of people with the flashing eyes and stuff like this. So just a crazy situation. And then they told her and explained her that probably this is some type of blood transfusion, so some type of injections with cells, with some cells that can cure people, and this is just a side effect. So the eyes are glaring in the night. But this video today on Trends told us a story about more information about this case in Kemerovo, where the huge fire was actually occurring. So one woman, she was talking about some elections thing, about this last election, that she was in the Putin's team, and she was talking about this and that. And then she started to talk about the day before this huge fire, that actually her father was one of the top persons who went to Cameroon one day before the fire. With no reason, he was just catching the first plane from Moscow to Cameroon before the fire, one day before the fire. And then he called her the next day when everybody knew that actually fire was already uh, observable because it was burning like about 10 hours. So everybody in Russia already knew that some type of fire there in this mall. And so she called her father because she knew that he was leaving Moscow to Kemerovo the day before. And she said, "What's going on there?" And he said, "You don't want to know this. This is just not your case." So she was like, "Well, I'm more aware than you know." And she was asking him questions. And so he was saying that those kids will never see their parents anymore, but they're not dead yet. And so they're gonna be brought to Moscow and stuff like this. So this is just a conspiracy story that she told, and she told that she is. Then she, the guy that was interviewing her, he said like, "Well, how do you know this?" She said, "I'm one of the Putin's team friend or whatever, and we have like this society inside society that is highly under conspiracy." So this was just an interesting story. If she was not mentioning this flesh and eyes, because that guy was interviewing her and she was saying like one day she, after some crash or something, she was pretty broken and she had bad health problems, and so she was brought to this clinic by her father, this secret clinic in Moscow, and then they gave her some uh, remedy or whatever cure, and she was like, wow. She had no sleeping for 4 days, and they said it was made of some blood. Well, some blood of probably kids or something like this. So she said that this is just the case, and the camera was probably they had those not not offspring, but orphans, about 40 of them, a huge bus of orphans that was brought to that mall, and when the fire was set up, they took all those orphans and walked them out of this fire and captured them. And now they like bringing them to Moscow to make this sacrifice and do this stuff like what they do in this secret society. And they all have this flesh and eyes which are glaring in the night. That's what she's exactly what she said. So probably this is an interesting case. If you heard something about this, people, I know that many would think about Masons and those huge societies that they have. Yes, they have Masons and probably some of those, but you know what I'm saying? I'm saying that top people are not all of them. So probably just a small percentage of top people, top elite people, actually belong to this secret, I don't know, cannibal society, which I've been talking about in one of my videos. Well, oh, okay. If you heard something about it, please write me in private message or in the email that I had in my channel description. Okay. So that's why this video is called "Close Your Eyes before you see those people." Because if you see them and they know you saw them, you probably are done person. So we'd like to see questions here. Pretty much people here. Glow in the dark. Yes, glow in the dark. Yes. So, if you have any information about those guys, please let me know because I would like to make future research because this is probably the case. What they doing to hide the evidence of this huge tyranny that we have in our world and this parasitic control. More atmospheric electricity videos. Yes, probably in the summer we're gonna be traveling and picturing more. Right now the weather just sucks and doesn't want to go anywhere but forests. Thanks a lot for watching videos and thanks a lot for support. See you later. Hope you like this one. Bye.